welcome back to this edition of Daily Actives brought to you by Bootleg Macro. I'm Dustin. We are looking at SoFi once again, and you can tell based on the chart. Today was an interesting day for all the SoFi soldiers. And I say that because yesterday we saw a big day where it was up 19.9%, and today it was down 9.16%. And it was down in a weird way. It looks like it held the level, but it essentially gapped and then fell is probably what I'm imagining. I'm not going to look at the daily 5-minute bars because I think that's useless to look at unless you're a day trader, which dear God, I wish you nothing but the best, but that sounds like a horrible way to live your life and live on the screen that much. But when I look here at what we've seen in the price action, we went from 9.55 to 11.45 to 10.35. We really have seen a flip here on the 1 day. And by the move that we saw yesterday or today, there's a risk that the 5-day rolling average could very easily evaporate down to 0%. And it makes sense because we saw this thing go from -5 to up 1.2 to up 21% to up 10%. You could easily see a thing where it comes back. I'm not sure if it will and fill the gap necessarily, but that's not a great look. I'd feel very comfortable holding anything above $10 from this level. You're only risking 35 cents for whatever up your upside is, which I think long-term there's a lot in SoFi. We could see that we've flipped positive at least all the way across here when it comes to the 5-day, 15-day, 1 month, 3 month, 6 month. We do have a go long, which you'd expect with the gap up candle that we saw yesterday. So we have a go long in the short term, intermediate term, and longer term. We have flipped fully to bullish on the short term, intermediate term, and longer term as well. That's really good to see. And we do look at the rolling sentiment, and we can say that we do see a falling bear, which in theory is kind of good for where SoFi is right now. But I think there's a lot of wonkiness going on inside of this chart simply because you got that big gap. Now, before you do anything else, you should subscribe to the New High newsletter. We send you 25 stocks that break out every single week. New highs, 52-week highs, stocks between $5 and $10, stocks above $20. You'll love it. Just sign up. But as we continue here on SoFi, one of the things that I find to be really interesting as I just think about it is that there's a trader, I think it's Trader Stewie on Twitter, where he talks a lot about this power earnings gap, the PEG, I think is what he calls it. And this is exactly what that was. The SoFi power earnings gap this actually was a gap up because of the earnings, I believe. I don't really watch the news or pay attention. I more look at data. But it does portend that this would actually be something that'd be very positive for the long-term future of SoFi because you're getting exceeding earnings, you're getting market demand, you're going to get it talked about. People are going to really start bringing up the brand name. There's going to be fundamental people who are starting to buy in. There's going to be Momo chasers who are starting to buy in. There's going to be, I don't know, value investors, bank people, whatever it is. But there's a market that will get created in a company like this. And that type of character, like power earnings gap, is a very good signature of better things to come. I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of paraphrasing someone else's strategy, but I think as I'm looking at the data, I'm just kind of putting it all together. And it looks like right now we're getting a flip up in the bullishness. We've completely overcome that downward trend that we had that ended, it looks like, on the 25th of July in terms of bullishness versus bearishness. That doesn't mean the price is going to fall. It just means that we've gained demand back. We saw the largest amount of volume that's ever been traded inside of the stock, or at least in the past 9 months on any one day. Very positive because that was a bullish move. We can see the volatility is breaking back out. The correlation is starting to rise with it. So you would expect some very aggressive moves here inside of SoFi. I would actually think we might see some gapping up, which I'd love. The way that we see in terms of the daily trade range, no surprise here. When you get a gap, it has to completely reset because it messes not only with the price, but it messes clearly with the volatility. And it looks like we're going to get some positive things to come here in SoFi because the ultra fast sentiment looks great. On the longer term, there just isn't enough data, it looks like. But on the longer term, what I like is that the volatility of SoFi is breaking out while the price correlation is also breaking out. So the daily, what you're going to see most likely is exactly the same thing, where the volatility is now breaking out and the correlation is starting to rise with it, which is matching up exactly with the weekly. I like what I see in SoFi. But tell me what you think in the comments below. Are you long? Are you short? Do you like it? Do you love it? Is this even a good review? And before you go, again, sign up for the New High newsletter. Bootleg Macro sends you 25 stocks breaking out and hitting new highs every single Sunday for free in your inbox. I'll talk to you soon.